Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Backpack Trader Training Room for Thursday, July 21st, 2022. Please note the required risk disclosure. This room is for educational and informational purposes only. It is not to be considered financial advice. There is substantial risk of loss in trading commodity futures, foreign exchange currency, for otherwise known as Forex, equities, options, and crypto of any kind. You should consider carefully whether trading is suitable in light of your circumstances and financial resources. In other words, this trading should be attempted with risk capital only, dollars or whatever your monies that you can afford to lose. Not that we want to do that, but it definitely is a possibility. All right. And we've got a couple of minutes yet for market open. YM is at a pretty good long running short, so we'll take a look at we've got a get in sync, the add-on here in soybeans coming up. Good morning, Miles. Good morning, Pamela. Please do say hello so I'm know who's in the room. And let's see, crude this morning. Yeah, we've got at least a minute. Initial crude trade on the full contract is this magenta trade, which is a gold level trade off the 200 EMA. That goes for target 1 and target 2. It hits target 2 on the nose for 24 and 37 ticks. 61 ticks on that trade if you took it. If you aren't trading those trades, either you don't have the gold or level setups, or you're not marking those in manually, then your first trade would be the short here. Well, that's 9 seconds pulling back. You may or may, that trade is possibly avoidable, which would be a good thing. But it would be if you didn't avoid it, it's a 21 tick risk, 42 tick loss. We go into the long at 96.56. That meanders back and forth, touches money management, no targets, so it comes back and stops out for a single tick. 2 positions, that leaves us down 40, assuming we got into this initial trade. And the markets are open, and the YM did stop out. Soybeans came back. Okay, looks like it moved down too quickly to get in sync with the long, but then you got the short that went through too fast to trade. So soybeans is looking for it. It's hit money management, so it's off the table. Soybeans looking for its first trade of the morning, as is the YM. That punched a little bit too far the 20 to get a blue trade going on the short side. But coming back up in this could be a long setup coming up if we get an up close here. There it is. I'd take that up to 16, even though it's 11 with the 20 in the midst there, and it's still triggered in. So long on the YM from an adjusted entry at 716. That's a significant adjustment, but bouncing off the session low, I really wanted to see it come through the 20. It did, and it's just holding in that holding pattern right now. Need to get through. Money management is at 741 and target at 744. That's 28 ticks after the adjustment. And right now we're stuck to the 20 SMA. And this probably not a good sign. The 50 now coming down through the money management level. I would definitely like to have seen us get up through that before the 50 got down to it. And a new long on soybeans. Now that went through in 3 seconds, so that's too fast to trade. And the YM taking heat, testing in session low. Stop just below that. And stopping out. So unsuccessful in the first trade on the YM this morning. 39 tick risk, 78 tick loss on 2 positions. All right, while we're waiting for there's the next trade. As I say that, 687 for the long, it looks like. No, 688. And we got as high as 688. So I'd go ahead and push that to 91. That spiked up right to our entry, most likely too quickly to trade. So normally I'd just push it to 89, push it 1 tick, but that puts us right in a key level. So go ahead and take it to 91. There's plenty of room in that trade. That also gets us, and this trade stopped out, so that is off the table. And I believe, yeah, it set up a short. That's a blue short as it went through the entry at 649, which was the stop. Now the question is, 7 seconds back up. So far, I suspect we're not in this trade, but it's 5 ticks to the spike, so it's too far to move. Okay, long at 76. And there, that triggered in. Lots of time to get your order in. So the short trade avoided. And working to, there's money management and target one at 26. Given where the 50 EMA is, I'd go ahead and take profit at target one, even though it's a fairly small trade. $26 ticks off our 78 puts us at 52 down. And our stop now at 689. Target 2 achieved. Okay, Russell with first trade is the short. It hit the stop and the entry on the first bar, so it's not being tracked. And it's a full, if you were able to get it, it's a full stop anyway, because then the next bar goes just the opposite way and goes to a full stop. So, same thing happened on the long trade. Looks like possibly 2 losses, and we come to the third trade. Looks like 5 seconds till we got money management moving. They got the stop move. So I would say that we are not in that trade. That trade moved too quickly to catch. No trigger on the short as yet, and then we just got a long. And there's time to get into the long. So we are in the long. On the Russell. That's the micro. Yeah, that's the full Russell. That is catapult using the custom Renko bar. Okay, we got stopped out on the YM at 94 from 76 is 18. So we're down 34, and unfortunately it looks like we pick up I wasn't watching that. It looks like we probably picked up another loss of 37 ticks. And now back in another short. And we said that was too fast. And the long stopped us out. So that's the third full loss on the Russell. That should be a session ender. And the YM has taken another full loss on the short. Got within 34, and then we took a 74 tick loss and a 72 tick loss. And actually, that's going to be more than that because that would have been a stop and reverse. So that's going to be likely a 76 tick loss. 1, 2, 3, 4. No, I take that back. We would have been into this short and adjust the entry around the 20. Well, yeah, and then we'd. Well, I am getting to be really messy right now, and time to step aside. That would be. Case can be made for actually still being in this short way back here. Get in sync would have been right here. Well, actually, would have the get in sync would have canceled on the touching the entry there. So yeah, we would have taken the 72 tick loss on that short. Oh man. Then another short that again spiking right to the entry or just a tick or two beyond before coming back and to the full stop, but possibly still in the short. All right, taking a look at pound Aussie. Now let's finish up with crude. Well, I am being nasty this morning. JP, are you in the room? All right, so we had taken, if you didn't take the gold level trade that went one and done, you take the short, possibly avoidable. It's only 9 seconds back to there, and then we, yeah, the YM is back and forth, getting chewed up right now. So we have the break even yellow trade, and we come in with a short that hits both targets for trade number 3, 14 and 23, 37 ticks. We were down 40, assuming you did trade this first short. So we would be down 3 on the session, 9 a.m. session. Plenty of time to the 10 a.m. session now. That would have been a nice trailer. That would have been the trade number 3 in being successful on that trade. And then we go out to current and we'll wait for 10 o'clock. Pound Aussie picks up 854.53 on my chart, picks up a short that takes right at session low, or actually just below the session low at the time. Spikes through, sets a new session low. Yeah, it took a couple of minutes to do for that bar, so don't know whether you're in it or not, but comes back up, challenges the stop, but doesn't hit it, and bounces off the session open. Meanders around and then comes down again through the entry, so you definitely are in that. Hitting target 1 and target 2, 44 ticks on those two targets, 3 additional positions remaining. How do you play this? There are a couple of ways to play it. You bring your stop to the entry of the long, which would be $73.32, which it just barely touched, or you stay with the stop that you had, which, given that was a solid move down, I would expect a bounce up. I'm not in too much of a hurry to get. I'll give that 3. It ends up being 4 ticks by the time you take key level into account, 4 pips, but it keeps you in the trade and keeps you in. Then you have to track manually, since it did trigger in on the long unadjusted. So we come down, signal line is at 73.21.1. So that would put the stop at 23. And that's where we would stop out, at 23. And actually more like about 25 with the adjustment for spread there. Couldn't think of the word. But 23 from 43 picks us up another 20 ticks. So we get 64 pips on, I'm sorry, another 20 ticks times 3 positions. So another 60 ticks. So we end up with 104 ticks, or 104 pips this morning on the Pound Aussie. Unleaded gas. 9 o'clock start. 2 seconds on that one to the first bar, and then it never comes back to close to the entry. So too fast on the long. The short, 5 seconds. That's another one that's too long, unfortunately, or too quick. So unleaded, not having good luck getting into the trade. Then we get a short at 9:05. Plenty of time to get into that. And that meanders around and back to the entry again. And let's see where we are with that. Let me mark that up. There's your money management level. And then you have a stop and reverse. And the entry plotted at 97. 4 tick adjustment would take it to 97.01. And only get as high as 98. So we're still in the short at that point. Okay, when we get done with these charts, we can take a look at your Russell question from Trade Hacking Club yesterday. All right, so we stay in the short. We're still back in this short. There's money management. Target 2. That's going to be a one and done session with the stop and reverse adjustment keeping us in the short. We pick up target 1 at 58, target 2 at 89, depending on how you trade that, how you're trading that. It goes through target 3 and 4 and trailing to $95.51, it looks like, from the entry at $96.57. So 106 ticks on the trailer and a solid morning on unleaded. Now let's see, go back and take a look at what soybeans did. Our stop out should have been on this bar at 95.51. And so we go forward. Soybeans. This was our original short that was too fast. Ultimately stopped out there. Long, also too fast. Coming back to our short. Now, was this? No, that one wasn't. That's not too fast. Plenty of time to get in that. So there is our money management and target 1. We hit target 1 and target 2 for coming back to stop out at 08.25. One and done session on soybeans. 9 and 14 ticks. 23. It's almost 6 points. 5 3/4 points. We go 09 even to 08.25. That's another 3 ticks on 2 positions. 6 ticks. So 6 1/4 points on the day. Not a big win, but positive nonetheless. And the second trade was a nice long trade. Still trailing. But you should have been done on the short. All right, let's take a quick look at the micro NQ, and then we can come back and look at. JP posed a question in Trade Hacking Club yesterday afternoon. Or I guess it was yesterday afternoon, about the 1.6 point catapult momentum bar on the Russells. So we'll take having some issues with the trade assist, and I found that my trade assist on the catapult Russell isn't activated yet. So we can look at the charts a little bit, and I actually agree with you. I think something strange is going on there. But 4-minute wait here. This is the 6-2. And what I might do is also I may duplicate this and make it make it the 12.3, and we can take a look at that. On the 6.2, I'm on Eastern time on my charts, obviously. Exchange time is Central time, so this we would start at 8:34, which would be 9:34 Eastern. A lot of movement this morning on the micro NQ. So here we come to 34. And then we have a short right on our start time that doesn't trigger. It switches to a long. Definitely has time to trigger in and ultimately stops out. And we come short. Two, three, still 3 seconds, 4 seconds, still 4 seconds, 4 seconds, and we've already hit money management, so including the minimum ticks to money management. So that trade went too fast to catch, unfortunately. I think that one would probably have gone too fast to catch in anything, but we'll see if we take a look in a few minutes. All right, we're coming up to the 10 a.m. crude session in a little bit more than a minute. Yeah, about a minute 15. So we have a potential get in sync short here. We'll come back to the micro NQ. But currently that's a get in sync on the short side. All right, we are almost to the 10 a.m. session, 20 seconds. And there's money management. So, there's money management. So that trade is off the table. We will be looking for a new trade in just a few more seconds. 5 seconds to go. And we're in the 10 a.m. session. Obviously, looking for the next new setup. As that short went just a little bit too far. And once it got down there, it never came back. So it hasn't come back. So we're definitely out of that. So let's see. That is a second loss, most likely. Well, I don't know, possibly. How fast? Just 1 second to that second up bar, and then it reverses. So very possibly too fast to catch anyway. I'll assume that's still a second loss. And then this short is definitely in. Target 2 is successful, and they trail to target 1. So there's a solid win. We pick up a long that gives us time with the pullback to get in. What's it going to do? Touches a short, we'd still be in the long because that would be a stop and reverse. There's target 2. And we should we got to money management. I suspect we should be trailing. Yeah, we're trailing, so we can pick that up. We're actually in this long over here. Targets 2, 3, and 4. Hitting the 156 tick fixed target and stopping out just above target 3. So a second winning trade there. Not very nice. And okay, in a long now on crude, while we were talking about the crude in the long there for the 10 a.m. session. See if it can continue up or it's coming back down. $27 tick risk. It's a good sized trade. Target one is 16, target 2 is 26. That's a case where initially I probably would have pushed it up above the 20. We're at 16. I'd have pushed it up to 18 most likely. But given the 20 had pulled back down, I'm good to come enter it. And we'd have been in at the 18. All right, MNQ, while that's working, gives us another long. Target one on the same second as the setup. Yeah, we hit money management in the same second as the setup. That's way too fast to trade. Short comes down 1 second through and then back up. I would say that one's avoidable. And we go long again. 2 seconds, still 2 seconds. 3 seconds. We go up and come back. And we're just 6 seconds in there. Even with that we got a possible chance to get in there. You'd have to be fast, because that's going to be somewhere between 3 and 6 seconds after the setup. It's a target 2 win if you got in it. My guess is most people are not going to be able to get in that trade. And then taking a full loss on the long. And that is actually so that's going to be one loss. Then we're in the short. It just hit money management and target one. Lots of time to get into the short. Stop would be at 48 now, even with the missed the stop by a tick, and there we just hit the stop. Yep, got hit 48. So we lost 54 ticks on 2 positions. We picked up 13 on target 1 and 1 on the second position. So 14. We're still down 42, and 1 trade remaining for the session. in it long at 51. Money management at 61. So for our target is at target 2. We just hit money management, so 49 for the stop until we get up to target. And there's target. So target 2 is 16. Stop does move to 52 now. Now that we have a target in hand. So we're down 26. And stopping out for a single tick again. So down 25 on the session. All right. Yeah, no trade on. Possible, but not likely on that long trade on the MNQ. Short side, same second, and then just 7 seconds back to the. So that one is avoided as well. All right, this long, looks like that's going to. 1 second, 10 seconds on this bar, and then it comes back up. There's no way to avoid that trade. And it goes for a stop and reverse. Would likely be at the full stop anyway. And hey, niggles you into that one and goes the other way again. So that's going to be our 3 losses on MNQ. So that will end the session. But we did have a couple of solid winning trades in there. So it should be positive. All right. Let's go back to my comments. And let's take a look. Let's take a look back at the 1.6 tick. These are both the 116 range or 1.6 momentum for the Russell. It's a momentum bar on Catapult. JP, what I was seeing on your this is what you sent me that you were seeing, and so it looks like your 8:30 start time should have picked this trade up as well as picking up this one, both of which were break even trades. But the first trade that the automation picked up was this short. In this case, that's definitely to your advantage, and based on the POQ settings that you had on the strategy that you sent me, this is with default calculator only changing the entry offset and the stop offset. So those would have been valid there. These, again, this is the full custom trade plan. And I agree that it should have picked up. It starts at 8:30, which would be 9:30 on my chart. It should have picked up that trade and this trade. And actually, this trade should have been POQ, because you had what you sent me was POQ1, and so that would have put you 4 ticks positive, running 4 positions, and therefore that would have been a win and more than 1 tick positive. So that would have been your POQ right there. But yeah, I agree with you. That trade should be in there, and as soon as I get I've got the TA loaded on this chart, but I can't enable it until I get it activated with Will, and I will do that today. But if mine doesn't pick up these two, then we definitely have an issue, because this chart is matched exactly to what you're showing for the trade plan, and definitely should have been picked up. This was Tuesday's chart, the 19th, and we got the same kind of situation on the 20th, I believe. Okay. There's our start time on the 20th. There's the first trade on the default calculator with the different. And notice this is the 14 EMA, and I did notice that you did have the EMA filter turned on in what you sent me, but it wouldn't have made a difference. Both the long trades meet the EMA requirement as well as the short trades, so no issues there. The structural EMA for your custom was the 9, which is, I've got this dotted green line over here. The trailer is 22, which is the purple line. I just left the purple on over here, but it really doesn't matter. Well, looks like you have that break-even trade, which should have been POQ. Not by the spirit of the POQ rules, but by the TA, with what the TA understands it would have been. Then a full loss here. And let's see. This is what you sent me. So yeah, that's your full. That should have been a full loss. Okay, there's your break even, the full loss. You have a third trade that looks like it should have ticked in and then stopped and reversed you to the short. So let's take a look and move this one forward as well. Yeah, it looks like for some reason it missed all three long trades and then took this short trade here. Obviously, the targets are considerably different in those two, but so long, yeah, the long there, the long there. All three longs definitely meeting the EMA filter, and that's the only filter that I saw on. So by full trade plan you sent me, same thing, and it should have stopped and reversed here, picking up target 3 and the trail as you're trading 3, 4 fixed and trail. So I'm kind of in agreement with you, and I'm going to see if it does the same thing on the NinjaTrader TA as your TradeStation TA is doing, but it looks like something strange. Is it? Have you looked back to see if it's just long trades that are being skipped, or have you found long and short trades being skipped? Because in these two, it's definitely just long trades that have been skipped so far. Now that's one and done if it doesn't take those, but if it does, you still should have been over here and not taking that trade at all. So let's move forward and see what today looks like. Yeah. Okay, looking for the 9:30 on my chart start, 8:30 Central or exchange time. Okay, looks like you got a short that got target 3 and should have reversed. And you would have to make it do that, you would need to put the stop and reverse adjust in on the trailer or on the strategy, and that's a thought. I don't remember if there's not a stop and is there a stop and reverse adjust in this? No, there's not. Yeah, there's not an automatic stop and reverse, so it's going to reverse or it should close out on that long trade, but that's going to be a one and done session on the morning. Well, let's see. Yeah, that should be that's a quick session, but it's a one and done session. So Check and see if it happened to skip that today. Ah, okay. Sorry about that. I was missing a bunch of. Okay, good. Skip the first short at 8:30. Okay, that's interesting. Your 8:30 stopped out before entering the long. That's interesting. Okay, so it didn't stop out before the long triggered in before it got back up to the stop, but it doesn't matter. So then it took the long, and that was a break even. Then it took the short, should have taken the short, which was a full stop out, and reversed the long. I wonder what timing. That's a minute in. No, that's not fast bars. So I don't know why. This one's pretty quick. That's just 2 seconds. Another three. Yeah. Yeah, that's one of those times where if you're going to play with that, keep the original trade plan chart and do do a copy and paste to a new chart to play with. But that looks like that's you're going to get a so you if it skip that you're going to get the long a full stop. Actually, the long would have been POQ based on the trade plan, so it's not going to take the short. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what the TA does on here. I will definitely let you know as soon as I get that activated. But okay. So did your TA take the long trade? All right. Yeah, it should have been. And did it stop after that? Because unfortunately, it didn't get. Oh, wait a minute. Actually, it may have gotten to target 3. Because I think target 1 might be hidden behind the stop there. 16.3. Yeah. Target 1 is there. So it did get to target 3. So it would have been target 3 and 1 tick. Definitely a POQ trade. But yeah, I agree with you. That's should be taking those. Now the 9 is here, so the long is definitely good. Short is fine. Yeah, there's no reason that I see that it shouldn't be taking those trades. All right. I'll put those back in the background. That's right. We said the MNQ was done. So that pretty well finishes us up this morning. Yeah, that's what I'm seeing. I just didn't recognize that it hit target 3 and from initially there because target 1 was hidden under the stop from the short trade. But yeah, that one is rather odd. Well, I suspect that that's likely not going to change, but I suspect that your power factor and so forth would be a little different if we once we get it taking those first few trades. It looks like it may be just the first couple trade or two. There's not consistently 2 trades though, but strange. But you might take a look at making your POQ tick something like 5 so that the initial break even trade is not going to take you to POQ. Because I believe the TA is going to take that break even as a win. What we think of as a break even trade, it's going to take as a win because you're going to be plus 4 ticks. Yeah. Easier. I started to say, and doing that is going to be, shall we say, not part of the trade plan. If we can figure out why it's skipping those, we might be able to write it in. You might be able to write it in, but that's why the TA is skipping those trades is a question because it seems to be just mostly they seem to be break even trades, which really doesn't make a whole lot of difference. But you don't know that going in, so I don't understand the skips. But yeah, I'll take a look at it and see if it happens. It's going to happen on NinjaTrader's TA as well. But yeah, you're exactly right. That's exactly where it ought to be. And even if you had your calculator on defaults other than the entry and stop offsets, still should take those trades. So that's one we're going to need. We'll probably have to take a look at with Will and see. Oh, can you resend the full performance report, uh, but rename it so it's just the XLSX extension rather than the MHT? My email client won't let me download the attachment with the MHT extension. It should be an Excel spreadsheet anyway. But that's just downright strange. All right. Anybody else have questions? Not a whole lot more we can beat on that horse about. I have a question, JP. Obviously, I haven't looked back at a lot of trades on this as you have. Has it been skipping? Have all the trades it skipped been uh, winning trades, or are there some losers in there as well? Winning or break even. The everything that I've seen so far. You'll just have save it when you because you saved it to your machine. Go into Windows Explorer or whatever your file manager is, and just rename the file and delete that part of that extension off of it. It should be XLSX, and just basically just delete the MHT dot or dot MHT, and then resend me that file because the file format should be Excel anyway, so that shouldn't be an issue. Yeah, I'll try to take a little bit more of a look at that. Go back a few little while. Go back further. Well, we got. Yeah, we just started the nine. I may go back into the June contract and see what it looks like. Okay. Well, that's. I have to figure out what's causing it to filter to skip those, and it's not even. It's gonna be interesting with the because the on the Ninja TA actually will let me draw the chart with the TA draw the chart. So I may try to do that and see if it is any different than what I'm drawing with the calculator. that's really helpful in trying to figure out if you got some mismatches. All right. Does anybody else have questions? Looks like we had a lot of people stick around this morning. That must have been an interesting discussion. You're quite welcome, Steve. Okay, Pamela, you want to take a quick look at that at 1.6? This should be the no. That's the here we are. Let me duplicate this in a new tab, and we'll make it M2K 0922. And a little bit different. Okay, there we go. The M2K doesn't. I have not heard heard it anywhere, JP. And I from what Troy said, I don't think he's heard any feedback to that effect with Catapult, and that's going to be specific to the Catapult TA. So I don't know how many have actually worked with the Catapult TA. But yeah, that's going to be that one doesn't have the short trade at all, and then just gets the long. It's target 3, but that's pretty close to the same chart, except it doesn't have the initial short. And you have a full loss long or full loss short. The long goes target 1, which should be a break even. No, it doesn't go far enough to. Wait a minute. Does it? Yep, it's a break even. It brings the stop to 18.2. So you have a break even, then you have a nice solid winning short. But POQ1 would be the first trade. And it looks like you definitely should have been able to enter that trade. Now, I'd seen some in the earlier days that you couldn't have. Yeah, that's lots of time to get that one. This one, and that one probably not, because it was 6 seconds to money management. Well, you probably wouldn't get that trade. The short, this one could be problematic as well. 34. No, maybe not. 16 seconds on that. So you got some time there. Don't know how fast it went through. But with the way the market is right now, if you get it slow enough to be able to get into all the trades, you're probably going to be on a really, really big trade, or a really large risk. So you're limiting significantly what you're able to trade. Let's take a look at it while we're here. Just yeah, almost 30 seconds there, and lots of time to get into that. Finally, does go to money management and ends up being a break-even trade. Now, JP, was this a trade plan off of the website, or was this one that you had optimized already? And that's going to be another break-even right there. That's the thing that I'm seeing with this plan is it's going to have a lot of break-even trades, which is also one of the reasons why I would look pretty hard at the. Okay, great. I've I can see where with this trade plan you're going to end up with a lot of you know break-even sessions, which are your one-tick winners. And I think the way around that may be just to increase the POQ ticks, to say it's a four position trade, increase it to five ticks. But like in those two cases, you're getting lucky because it the trade plan is actually getting lucky in that it skipped break even trades that would have been POQ based on the POQ rules. So I'm while I think it probably is very likely to have that high winning percentage, I think that POQ setting is a little bit too tight. I don't disagree with POQ1, but I think POQ the spirit of POQ1 is not one break even trade. The spirit of POQ1 is a um, primary target. So a T in this particular plan, a T3. Now, what making the ticks POQ ticks, putting that to 5 means that two break evens would still be. So then your two money management trades would be POQ as well. So that would be the two and one, or one target and positive, or two money managements and positive. But I think and that's something you can test. But I think that's a very good place to start the testing. Is you know basically test in. I would say with that, I would test in 4 tick increments from one to what say one to 19, or no, 1 to 21, increment of 4, since you got 4 positions on. But my gut feeling, and it's just that, is I think doing at least a 5 will give you better results than the one, once we get it. So it's taking the trades that all the trades that it should. But it's definitely something I'd look at testing. But I'm seeing a lot of break even trades, which doesn't surprise me. But there again, that's because the break even with the 6 tick entry offset and target one still being 1x from the high or low of the setup bar. So you're looking at X is going to be 16 on your 1.6 momentum bar, or 16 tick range bar with a single bar setup. So your money management is is going to be at 7 to 10 ticks most of the time. 10 without, if you don't have any key level adjustments, down probably as low as 7 with a major key level adjustment. So basically, your break even is pretty tight, and you're looking at 32, 30, you're looking at 38, typically 38 tick risk without any key level adjustments. That one's key level because it's, find one that's not key level. Yeah, how about this one? Yeah, risk is 39, probably because the stop is key leveled. No? Oh, yeah, yeah. Yeah, you got a 1 tick key level adjustment, so it's only 9 ticks to break even, but it's 39 tick risk. This one is 42 tick risk. So you got key level on the entry and a key level on the exit on the stop. It looks like that's been probably best to look at some closer to market open. Ooh, that looks nasty. Yeah, full stop long, full stop short, break even long, no trigger short, break even long. Break even short there, break even long, break even short. Yeah, that's gonna be a rough sequence in there. That's interesting. Okay, let me ask this question. It's come. What's it basing that 27 tick minimum on? And look, if you look at, I can see it dropping the average down considerably because at 27 ticks, why 27? Okay. Anyway, that's going to allow, say, you can take, what's that going to be? 20, 24 is 6. That do, that actually doesn't make sense to me because I certainly wouldn't let it go that high because all I'm trying to do is keep it from just being break even trades. And if you're working with a 5 trade max, so uh, about I would think 17 is probably about where the most you'd want to, as high as you'd want to be for that purpose. That would mean it'll let you take the 5th trade after 4 break even trades. And where it's going to hurt you a little bit is if you have a loss and then you got to exceed that 17 tick threshold to get back to POQ, not just get positive. It's a balancing act, no question. But yeah, I don't see any reason to take it to 27 ticks. Um, Basically, the only thing that's doing is making you go higher if you do get a loss, and then get one or two winning trades. But the point of that I was wanting to look at was trying to get it to make a target rather than just get break even trades. And given that you're going to be trailing the 22 EMA, but yeah, I would say increments of 4 from 1 to 17 would be where I would test, because I don't see a good reason to push it up beyond that. The only reason I'm pushing it to there is basically to honor the spirit of POQ. But I'm thinking that most likely something like either 5 or 17 would be where I'd likely to see it. And of course, the TA can do nothing with stop and reverses other than taking them where the trades plot. So, wondering why it drops the percent win. Probably because at 17, you end up taking more break evens and you end up picking up a few more losses. Try it at 5. See what happens. Five would give us essentially the two money managements or one target. Okay, yeah. 17's letting it hit too many losers, because if you get that many break evens, you're likely in a choppy situation, which means you're probably going to get more losers. But with as tight as the break even stop is on this, I think taking a couple of break evens to try to get a positive trade would be in your best interest. Yeah, the whole premise there is don't expose yourself to too much risk, and I think all 5 trades, when you hit break even, break even, break even, is probably not a good idea. The 5 trades is if you hit a loss first, or fair, yeah, if you hit a loss first, then I can see the 5 trades. If you're just getting break evens, that's telling me that there's not enough range in the market to be profitable. But I'm not going to make that assumption on just one. Is what I'm thinking. Okay, that's interesting. That's why we take a look at the TA. No, I'm I'm with you. That I was just interested in seeing what would happen, because that was my only thought of, okay, this looks like it possibly may be a way to improve it a bit, but apparently not, and I'm okay with that. If it's working that well, yes, let's not fix it. But remember, we're seeing a lot of first trades not get taken, and I would be willing to bet that a lot of those are break evens. At this point, until we get the taking all trades or figure out why it's not taking those sorted out, we need to. Well, yeah, I agree. It's working so well. I don't want to change it a whole lot, but is it working well because there's a bug in it, or is it working well, on its face? And what's causing it to skip those trades? Is that something that's designed in, or is it a bug that was not noticed, or one that we can actually account for with a rule that we can put into the calculator? And does it happen for everybody else? Okay. Well, I don't see any other questions, and well, no, we're not losing too many people. But it's getting to be it's after 11 o'clock, so yeah, I think that's definitely the way to go at this point is do a manual UTA test and actually take all the trade plan trades, and based on that trade plan, a break even is a POQ as far as I read it, because it's going to a break even is going to net you 4 ticks, and so that would meet the POQ rules of one win and positive, because it's going to be a positive it's going to be a positive trade or winning trade by 1 tick, and it's going to net you 4, so that should meet the POQ one and minimum 1 tick requirement. But yeah, interesting set of circumstances. The only way I can see that bringing the net profit down is if it's letting in some more losers that we're not being able to make up for. one of the reasons I wanted to look at the full performance report was kind of look at the trade sequence in there and see if I can get any clues. Now, I'm going to be interested to see what happens when I get it set up on Ninja. Yeah, if anybody can produce it, please reproduce what JP is seeing. Please put it up, post to the Trade Hacking Club. We'll keep the discussion going over there. And will let everybody know what I see as soon as I get the TA running on this one. Yeah, I just haven't checked for it yet, JP. It's if I did that, I'd be sure everybody would be see my email. So because I've got it displaying on this same monitor. So I will look at that after we get done. Just to be sure there's not anything strange. The reason I was asking for screenshots of your calculator settings was so that I can make sure that there's not a mismatch somewhere that you just overlooked. And I have overlooked some mismatches myself, so I do understand. It's easy to do. But based on the difference between a default calculator and the TA, I don't see any reason why the TA should, or the full trade plan, the same trades are in it, either one. So I would find it unlikely that that's an issue, but it's possible if something is just out of whack somewhere. Because of course, as I mentioned, all of these display lines are just that. They're display. They're not necessarily what's coded in the calculator. But I did make sure that they were matched up to the calculators that I loaded here. And that's what can fool you at times as well. Something you may want to put on your chart, since the structural EMA that it's trading on is the 9, you may want to put that on your chart, JP. Which is this, for me, is this green one. See, I've got the 9 EMA there. Clean up the captions on my charts. because that we can definitely run ourselves around and around and around if we've got the calculator doing something different than what the display is doing. All right, folks. I think that'll wrap it up for today. We'll see everybody tomorrow. No, tomorrow is Friday. Everybody gets to trade on their own tomorrow. But I will post in the Trade Hacking Club and let everybody know what I find out once I get the TA activated here. So everyone have a wonderful weekend. Good luck with your trading tomorrow. Have a good weekend, and we will see everybody next week. Troy should be in on Monday as usual.